Right, man. No big introduction, but we'll just get straight into it.
It's good to see you. It's quite an interesting story how you and I met.
Yeah.
And it's quite special, how just a chance meeting, going to a bar because of our joint love of traditional Māori food. And, you meet someone and what was that, 5 years or so later?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long. Yeah. So just to give some context, so what was it, Section 8?
Section 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a makeshift. What is it? It's like a bar where sometimes they have some off events, like doing a hangi.
Yep, just a kind of outside bar. They also call it container bar because it's very kind of low key.
A container.
Yeah.
In like an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah.
In the city.
And it's traditionally a bit of a Kiwi bar as well. You always see Kiwis when you go to that bar, and they had this. The Hangi boys decided to put on a thing there that particular day, and Ray and myself ended up stars align, and we were there on the same day, and it was just amazing to be able to meet you.
Yeah. So did you see like it advertised somewhere? Because I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure it was online somewhere. I can't remember if it was Facebook or something else, but probably was Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah. So we basically met randomly at this place. Yeah.
Yep.
What drove me there was, I think it was soon after being released from hospital.
Yeah.
Because I was going through the whole cancer thing, and I think I was just craving for some food, because for so long I went without taste and I wasn't eating for days. And then when that taste started to come back, more and more I was kind of fiending for that food. And when I saw the hangi advertised at the Section 8, I thought, I've got to go, So I went there, posted up, and I remember I was just sitting there just analysing my surroundings, and I saw you guys. I think you were with a couple other people too, yeah?
Yeah. So we all kind of, someone discovered it and we all let each other know about it, and then we decided to go as a group of us. We all just love the hangi food, and it's not very often you get the opportunity to eat it, especially in Australia. So
yeah.
It was just... We've been going to this bar for years.
It's a good bar, eh?
It's a really good bar.
Yeah.
And but the hangi event, that was the thing that got us there on that particular night.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the hangi event, we probably wouldn't have been there. We probably wouldn't have met on that day.
Wow. And then so many years later, we're boys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's I had a housewarming at my house, and invited Ray and his partner and his daughter over, and we had a catch up, and we've kept in touch online through Facebook and other means, and we've just got a connection, and
that's awesome, bro. It's awesome to be friends with you, and see your journey online. And
well, you're just a very inspirational person.
Stop it, man.
I remember. I'm pretty sure we got straight deep into the conversation on the first day we met. Like you told me your story, and it was just really humbling for you to share that part of your life to a complete stranger, and quite inspirational to have that courage. And man, I just remember you turning up there by yourself on the night, and I just thought, man, this is a brave motherfucker. And to hear a little bit of your life story and what you've endured, and man, it was inspiring, and it was amazing to meet you.
Thanks, man. Likewise, it's awesome to meet you too. And saying that, in this podcast, I really want to learn more about you.
Yeah.
So let's take it back then. So what was it like for young Chris? What's your like earliest memory?
Oh man, it's funny you should say that because when you invited me on this podcast, I had absolutely no idea what it was going to be about, and I've told a couple of friends, they've asked me what I'm doing this weekend, and I've said, I'm going to my friend Ray's to record a podcast, and they're like, oh, what's the podcast going to be about? And I'm just like, I don't actually know what it's going to be about. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of really excited to be genuinely open with you and tell you the real me. So
that would be appreciated, man, because many years we're going to look back, and I think we'll be grateful for the moment.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. There's a lot of pain and suffering in my life, and
I would never have guessed it. You don't look like you.
I do a good job at hiding it, but I think I just have the strength, man, to portray a positive person. But
maybe it comes from belief, Maybe you do have this kind of belief.
Yeah,
you look pretty upbeat and pretty chippy, positive.
I push myself, man, every single day.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah. It's but it's tough. It's like I come from a broken family. So
Really?
my parents divorced when I was very young. And I have some quite traumatic memories of when I was a young person growing up. And when you are a child and your brain is still neurologically forming the pathways, it's very influenced by your environment.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so
that's your formative years,
Yeah. And so because of the circumstances that I was subjected to when I was young, my brain, it's very anxious.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny because most people don't see it, man. And I hide it.
I don't see it, man.
I hide it really well. But I'm a naturally very anxious person, and the anxiety can be good and it can also be very bad. It can be good in that it's motivating. I just never want to give up, bro. And I just constantly push myself every single day. But yeah, and then on the flip side, the anxiety can just take over, bro. And it can be quite sort of paralyzing and debilitating.
I've heard that a lot from people. It's quite common.
Yeah. It's like I've experienced panic attacks.
Yeah. Often or just
at various times in my life. So the first time I experienced a panic attack was when I was at university, and I was staying in a hostel, and I used to wake up really early in the morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and my heart would be beating really, really fast. I used to feel like I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, so nothing brought it on per se.
It's just something deep inside my brain. And I just used to freak out, and I'd wake up and I'd go downstairs another level and go see a friend and knock on his door, and I'd just be like, dude, I'm freaking out. Can you just help me and calm me down? And he'd start talking to me, and within a few minutes he'd calm me down. And so I went through a bit of a phase like that, and like I'm 46 now. And
wow. You look younger than me.
I still feel like Ray, I'm the ski little boy in an adult's body, if that makes sense. So
that's pretty profound, because you're carrying something all these years.
Yeah, man. And so I've got one of my earliest memories in answer to your original question was I remember having a nightmare when I was about 6 years old. And I was in my bedroom and yelling and screaming, and I remember my father coming into the bedroom and trying to calm me down, and there was nothing that he could say or do that could calm me down. And as a 46-year-old human being, there's still times in my life where I feel like that. And it's pretty scary. But this is my thing. Like, you have your cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my thing's anxiety. And this is just something that I have to continually work on. And everyone's got their thing, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's this is life, man. It's not meant to be easy.
No. Wow, that's pretty deep, man.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of personal development, and you know, I continue to do a whole lot of stuff on myself. But yeah, it's just important. The most important thing, bro, never give up.
Exactly.
Never
That's a
give up.
positive, yeah, that you can pull from those experiences you've had, you know, with panic attacks and stuff like that. Oh, wow. So how old were you when your parents split up again?
Probably around 6 years old, 7 years old. So
you could probably still remember quite a bit from there.
yeah, man, I've got a really vivid memory. Like my father was quite physically and emotionally abusive to my mum. And I've got a memory of when I was about 6 years old, and we lived in this house and had these concrete stairs in this house. And he actually threw my mum down these concrete stairs.
Wow.
And I just remember, you know, being this 6-year-old, 5-year-old boy, and just not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
It's
both your parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, what do you do as a young child, really?
It was quite traumatic, and I think
Definitely is, yeah.
I've learnt. I'm trying to study the brain. I don't know if you've studied the brain much yourself.
Oh, no. I try to study people.
Well, there's a part of your brain called the amygdala.
Yep.
And the amygdala is basically the part of your brain that's designed to protect us as human beings. So, you know, we're walking across the street and a car suddenly comes out, and the amygdala's like, fucking don't walk another step, you're going to die.
Yeah. That's the one that brings you back into comfort, kind of, is it?
It's the one that saves your life, basically. So I'll give you another example, and this is a crazy, crazy thing, man. When I was in university in Waikato in New Zealand, and I was on holiday with some university friends down in Rotorua, and a friend of mine, he had a Toyota Hilux ute, and we, like a 4-door one, and a few of his friends were in the car with myself, and we got out, and we were being funny buggers, and we sat on the bonnet of this ute going through the drive-through.
Yeah.
And we just were young.
Fun. Yeah,
just fun, just young and stupid.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he's got bull bars on the front of his ute, and it's quite high because it's a work ute, so it's a little bit higher than a normal ute.
It's not sacked out to the ground.
No,
it's not one of those.
No,
not one of those Hiluxes.
Yeah, and anyway, we're driving through the drive-through, and because it's so high, the guy who's driving it, who owns the ute, he can't see that there's a car in front. And we're driving, and then he's trying to be a silly bugger as well to throw us off the front. Yeah. So he puts his foot down.
So you fall off.
So we'll fall off, right?
In between, yeah.
But what he can't see is that there's a car right in front, like literally there. So, and he can't even see it because we're sitting on the bonnet. Anyway, he puts the foot down, right?
Yeah.
And it's the one time in my life, Ray, where I didn't even think, bro.
Yeah.
Like, my legs just went up. My brain didn't tell my legs to go up. Then my legs just went up. And if my legs hadn't have gone up, I probably would have broken both my legs, bro. The truck went straight into the car in front of us, completely caved it in, and there were people in that car in front of us sitting in the back seat, and we ended up basically like that far away, like on the back of their car. And if it wasn't for the amygdala in my brain, that it's a reaction. It's like a caveman. It's going back to caveman times response.
It's just your instincts.
Instinct, bro.
Kicks in.
Pure instinct. And my legs just went up, bro. And I didn't even think about it. Another guy.
So what? It caved in behind that.
Oh,
that car?
It caved the whole car, and the guy.
So you must have went pretty hard in a short distance,
bro. It was a write-off. It was a
wow.
write-off. And there was a guy who was sitting next to me on the bonnet, and he's a stocky dude. Like, he's a big guy. He's got big legs, and he didn't lift his legs up, bro. And his legs went between the bull bars and the car. No. But my legs are like toothpicks. They just snap.
Yeah.
And because his legs are so big, he was okay. Like, you could see the indentations of between the bull bars and the car in front. Yeah. But his legs were all right. Like, he probably had bruising and whatever.
But still, just going back to that instinctual behavior that we all have.
That's it.
Well, I think most of us have.
Yeah. And so my amygdala, part of my brain, the way that I'm different from most human beings, like your cancer differs you from most human beings and what you've experienced and what you've had to overcome to get to where you are now. It's like the
story. What's your story?
The story. And my story is my amygdala is so...
like
hyper sensitive, bro. And to the point where... like I'm ruled by it 24/7.
Wow.
24/7,
really?
bro. Like I'm just in that.
Would you say like you're on edge all the time?
On edge all the time, bro.
Yeah.
All the time. And yeah, just when going back to what I was saying before, when you are a young person growing up and you are in circumstances, whatever the environment may be, the neural pathways of your brain are forming. And based on those circumstances, once those neural pathways are formed, that's going to affect pretty much every aspect of your life based on those experiences. Because your brain is literally getting wired as a result of those experiences when you're growing up.
Yeah. And
even though sitting across from you now is a 46-year-old bloody adult human, male, I'm still that 6-year-old scared little boy. And that's what I deal with on a daily basis.
Wow.
So I'm going to be brutally honest with you now, man. Like this, we're going deep, man. And I
hope so.
Man, I love you and I trust you and I respect
you. Too,
you. And yeah, man, like I've been suicidal 3 times in my life.
Wow.
And the last bout that I went through, I'm going through a current bout at the moment, bro. Like,
you're gonna make me tear up, man.
I'm sorry, man. But I trust you, and it feels good to talk about it.
I think so, man.
It feels good, man.
It's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. But yeah, I nearly didn't make it, man. When was it? About 2 years ago.
Oh.
So I literally had given up, man. Like I've had, like I said, about three times in my life where I've been suicidal. First was back in NZ when I was
Just
about...
Don't do it, man. Don't.
Nah. It's...
I don't know what to say, in that situation.
It's the hardest thing, man. It's like...
It is the hardest thing,
yeah,
literally.
Yeah. But I want to talk about it, bro. I want to talk about it. It's such a taboo subject. It's so no one wants to talk about it. Everyone's scared to talk about it, but it's a real thing, and
it's very real.
It's so real, bro. And a lot of people misconstrue, people who make that decision, and it's the level of pain that these people must be enduring to get to that decision to make for their lives. I don't think, even myself, someone who experiences this on a daily basis, even for someone like me, I don't think I'll even truly understand the level of pain that these people are going through to get to that decision.
Oh, you could never.
No, there's a lady, I don't know if you heard recently, a mother of 3 children. And she killed her 3 kids and she killed herself. For her to get to that point, she just must have been in such terrible pain, bro.
For how long, and what led up to it?
For years and years and years and years and years. And I think a lot of people, they're in this pain, and, man, you had no idea. For me.
No idea.
And it's
extremely important that we do talk about this, because I think hopefully it can help so many people.
That's so right. And if I can participate in your podcast today and have one person listen to it and think, man, I felt exactly the same as you.
Exactly.
Or
even prevent someone. Maybe they might just revert back to what they're listening to now.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully that could help them just a little bit.
Exactly. And just don't feel afraid to talk about it, man. It's like but I think it's something that you need to be selective with who you talk about it, because
could have a negative effect, maybe. Or
I just think some people.
Or how do you choose who to talk to? It's just trust,
I just, from my own personal experience, there's people that they just don't have that level of understanding, and I don't think that I'm not judging that person because of that, but I just don't think they have that level of understanding. So I don't think it's going to be beneficial for either of us if I have that conversation with that particular person.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, they do have that level of understanding. I'll give you an example. So the people I caught up with yesterday, he's my best friend. I've known this guy since I was 13 years old. I was best man at his wedding. He's best man at my wedding. If there was a blueprint on the perfect family, bro, they would make a book on his family life.
Yeah.
Like,
he would be the example.
Dude, his whole family, his sister, his brother, himself, his parents. One of my coping strategies growing up, because I was in such a dysfunctional family, I pretty much rubbed myself on him like a pig rubbing himself on another pig. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
yeah, it's kind of like the company you hang out with. It does rub off onto you.
Exactly. Trying to get some normal.
I don't know how, but
yeah, trying to get some normalcy in my life through hanging out with these people.
Yep, that makes sense.
And yeah, so I had that kind of feeling with his family, but in saying that, I don't feel comfortable with that conversation, man. Like, I've had the conversation with them, and when I was at my lowest point a couple of years ago, they were aware of the state that I was in. But, like, I saw them yesterday, and, we had a beautiful day together, and spent some time with their kids, and we had a swim, and we had a chat about stuff. But I didn't open up in terms of how I'm feeling at the moment.
Back then?
No. Yesterday.
Okay.
And I made that conscious decision not to do that. Whereas we've got some other friends who we were also supposed to catch up with this weekend. And a bit like yourself, man. They've experienced adversity. So this girl, her brother committed suicide. Or we don't
see
know
what you're saying. Yeah,
we don't know for sure if he did, but he died suddenly, and it may have been suicide. We think it may have been, but she's also experienced and continues to experience health issues like yourself. And he is an anxious person as well. So he understands a little bit about anxiety. So
the comprehension there, because you know that, they understand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
As opposed to convince this person that you are feeling a certain way.
Exactly, bro.
So hopefully that's something that people can use, find someone that comprehend the situation.
Exactly.
Rather than, just the best friend or, a close friend. They might not have that level of understanding.
Yeah. And you've got to have that person, Ray, because it's honestly, if you're having these types of conversations, which are very, very serious conversations, with someone who doesn't have that depth or level of understanding, it's not benefiting either person. It's not benefiting the person who's going through that feeling, that experience, and it's not benefiting the person who's listening, because not because they don't have good intentions,
exactly,
but they just don't have that level of understanding.
Yeah,
and so you've got to be selective. But
there are some organizations or some groups out there that you can reach out to, I'm sure.
Yeah,
shouldn't be too hard to.
Nah, man, no. But at the end of the day, like, dude, I've got a lifetime of psychologists, psychiatrists, medication, exercise, friends, anxiety groups, meditation, yoga, reading, podcasts, mindfulness, you name it, bro. Lavender oil, those diffusers. And I continue to work on myself. But
they all sound like good things, right?
Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, it's yourself, bro. You've got all this material, you've got all of these advice, all of these people, all of these experts, but when all is said and done, and when the lights go off, bro, it's just you and Ray, and it's just me and Chris.
Yeah.
And you've got to get to that point of acceptance. And I'm 46 years old, and I'm still trying to work that out. And I may spend the next 46 of my years on the planet, if I live that long, still trying to get to that level of acceptance.
Hopefully longer.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. It's
the way things are going.
Elon Musk might get us on Mars by then.
But yeah, how do we reach that, man? I think that's the question, isn't it? Everyone's different too, so
only Ray knows Ray, bro. Only Chris knows Chris. You can go and see any psychologist, bro, on the planet.
They'll give you some general advice.
They'll give you this CBT stuff they've studied at university, blah, 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 try and put you in some box.
Yeah.
They don't know Ray's life experience.
Triggers.
They don't know your triggers, bro. They don't know how that cancer has affected you and how it's not affected you and how you were before, how you were after.
And all the information that you withheld, because a lot of people don't tell the whole story.
Yes.
There's still maybe a couple details that they keep. They'll probably take it to their grave. But yeah.
Bro, that's so funny you should say that. Just quickly off topic.
Sorry, man. We'll go any direction you want.
I met this amazing woman by chance about 3 years ago now. Similar kind of like you and I, like similar but different. But we've kept in touch and we're really good friends now. And she organised a dinner on Valentine's Day about two and a half years, 3 years ago. It's Valentine's Day next month.
Yep.
And we're at this dinner with these other people who have also been invited. And she asked a question that just made me...
Like to you or to the table
to the
or
table,
party?
To the table, bro.
Yeah.
And the question was, tell something that you've never told another human being on this planet before, bro.
Wow.
And I was just like, that's probably the deepest question that I've ever been asked before in my life. And like this guy Jackson, who was one of the guys who came to the dinner, he talked about how, in his previous relationship, he was, with this girl, and then he saw another girl, while he was with that girl, and he's never told anyone about it, and just the stuff that came out in that conversation, man,
that's kind of
human
deep,
being,
but it's good,
bro. Human beings have this fucking tiny little trapdoor cave that fucking no one's been to, bro.
Yeah.
No one's been to, man. You know what I mean? And
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and it's just
everyone has it. I think
everyone's got it, bro. Everyone.
It's not a bad thing, You should be able to live a personal life, and I think people keep things personal.
Yeah. But the brain, it's so complex, bro.
Yeah.
It's so complex, man. It's you got a daughter and
and a son.
Have you got a son?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a son.
He's 2 next year. 2 next month.
Awesome, bro. Congratulations.
Yeah, we try not to put up too much of the children because they're too young,
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, it's. I just think, the brain is the most important thing,
especially the formative years,
bro. The formative years are just so crucially important. It just sets you up for life, and you've just got to have unconditional love and security, safe environment. We got these neighbours, bro, and they
are they new neighbours or they've always been there?
Nah, they've always been there, man. But they're going through a tough time at the moment, and they've got a newborn who has
that is tough.
Who's got a cleft palate. Do you know what a cleft palate is?
No.
It's when you're born without an upper lip.
Okay. Yeah, so I know someone like that. Yeah.
Yeah, basically just the nose and the mouth just join. You can't shut your mouth on. But anyway, so they've got this newborn baby. They've also got a son who is, I think he's about 6 or 7 years old.
Still young.
Still young.
Very young.
And he's the only one working. She's not working, so they've got one income. And two young kids. And there's obviously a lot of pressure at the moment in their family, particularly because their baby's got medical issues, which just adds another level of pressure.
A few more levels.
Yeah. So they had a massive argument, bro, the other day. And my wife and I, we both working from home, and we can hear them, and the voice levels just get louder and louder and louder to the point where the guy is shouting as loud as he possibly can, to the point where 6 doors down, I'm sure people could hear what was saying.
Wow.
And I'm just thinking to myself, what effect is that going to have on the 6-7-year-old boy?
Yeah.
And also, even though the baby's... Potentially the baby as well. The baby's only, maybe 1 or 2 years old. But
may not remember, but it'll form some kind of neurolinks.
Neuro response.
Yeah.
And you just, like it just saddens me, bro, because I just put myself, it takes me back to when I was, his age, this little 6-year-old boy next door. And, my parents used to argue and scream at each other, and my father was physically abusive. And I know the effect that's had on me. And then to now be sitting at home and hear this argument take place in front of the children, and to know, what effect this may be having on these poor kids. And then, bro, it's easy to see the intergenerational stuff, how it never breaks the cycle, because there's just this constant cycle of this kind of stuff happening. And, if the children are exposed to this kind of stuff, how can you expect them to live a normal life when they've had to witness and endure these kind of things as young kids? So it's really sad.
It's like it becomes normal. People tend to stand, what's normal.
And that's such a valid point you make, because their version of normal, is their parents yelling and arguing at each other. Like they don't actually know that actually that isn't normal, that's not normal, but because that's all they know, bro.
Well, is it normal or is it acceptable? I think that kind of behavior to me is unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it is going to be their normal.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got different normals. Some worse, some, not so worse.
Yeah, I think if that child was to, maybe like I did with how I coped when I was young and spend time with my best friend's family, that's how I cope, bro.
Yeah.
Like I tried to be like...
You got out of one normal and went into another normal.
Yeah, and that's...
Change your normal.
That's changed my normal, bro. And
it's a cool hashtag.
Yeah, but I think, like, in terms of a coping strategy, it was very useful, but it's also had a detrimental effect on myself as well, in terms of my identity, because I feel like I haven't had the opportunity to be my true self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've had to basically made a conscious decision that
Who was Chris? Huh?
Yeah, I want to be part of my best friend Andrew's family to save myself, but by doing that, who was Chris, bro? Who was Chris? Like, who am I? Comes back to that, that question that probably a lot of people ask themselves: who was Ray?
We're trying to find out on this journey.
Yeah, that's right, man. So,
We'll get there one day.
I feel so good, bro.
I hope so.
Oh, bro,
and I hope other people feel good from it.
I got up this morning. I was just anxious as I normally am, and I, did my exercise and, had my shake, got in the car, got the coffees, driving here, and my mind's just thinking, what's Ray gonna throw at me? What are we gonna talk about?
It's all you, man.
Yeah,
it's all you.
And then I get in here, man, and I'm kind of sitting in the seat, and I'm just like, fuck. What I was kind of, a little bit of anxiety and just not knowing what's going to be discussed and how the conversation's going to play out, and now
just natural, just an organic conversation,
and just talking about it feels so good, bro.
It does, yeah.
It feels awesome.
That's good to hear, man.
I would love to, like, I know for you, and I don't know if it was recording at the start, but you mentioned that world peace is one of your goals.
Ultimate goal. Yeah.
Your ultimate goal is world peace, and you feel like that is a realistic, achievable goal for yourself.
Yep.
my goal, I want to make suicide a conversation.
A thing of the past.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to make it a conversation that can be easily talked about and not stigmatized. And I want to make the conversation no different to cancer or breaking your leg or having COVID or the flu or it's an illness.
Yep.
And
that you can get better from.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I hope.
Yeah. It's something that just needs to be worked on, man. But you know, it's
But you're right, starting the conversation.
And
Sheesh.
and this is why so many people take their lives, and particularly men, right? Because men don't want to talk about it, bro.
It's true.
I'm the tough guy. I'm the rugby player. I'm the one who smashes this and that, and you know,
it's normal for guys not to talk about it,
bro. It's,
you know,
and
back to that normal thing.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be normal. We should talk about it.
It's
so important. It's the difference between life and death. You know.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's and you know, it can be so swift, man. Like I just want to read you out something that I found the other day just randomly on the internet. So this is like a sister, right, who posted something on internet. So she goes, "My brother died from depression. He also frequently exercised, had supportive friends, family, was successful in school and in work. He had goals that he was constantly reaching. He still killed himself. People who are depressed are not weak-minded. They are sick, and you need to understand this. And it's...
I think a lot of people don't understand that.
They don't.
That's good you voiced it, though.
Yeah. Like, you know, here's a person who I've described who, you know, is probably similar to myself. On the outside, you know, I may seem like I've got it all. You know, I'm married to a beautiful wife. We live in a nice house. We've both got good jobs. Got a nice car. We've got money in the bank. We can...
Great friends.
Great
support.
Friends, bro. I've got a good life, but... you know,
that doesn't mean that you won't be subjected to that illness, you know.
Beneath the surface, you know, on the top I'm the duck, and then beneath the surface, that's me. Those legs,
You're the
that's
legs.
me. That's the legs, and that's just the way that my brain was neurologically wired when I was young, and it's just something that I continue to work on in terms of acceptance and on a daily basis, bro. So that's just my thing. Cancer's your thing, and anxiety is my thing. So yeah, it's just life, man.
So going on from when you were 6 years old, what were some of some passions you had in early life, like from 6 onwards? Like, did you get obsessed with anything when you were a kid? Maybe some kind of like escapism, or even just in general?
I've loved tennis. Like tennis as a sport.
Yeah, when you were young?
Yeah, when I was young. Rugby union. Not so much now. I live in Melbourne, you know. Follow AFL now, but still love the All Blacks.
It's a sport, yeah.
Yeah.
Sport.
Yeah.
Sport's a good one. It's fun.
Yep. And running. I've always loved running, but I can no longer run now because my knee doesn't allow me to. But
oh, really?
Yeah. So that's another thing as well, bro. Just
because I saw like you were running a whole bunch, yeah.
Well,
you motivated me to run a few times.
Yeah. I was actually the Corporate Games Victoria 5K champion.
Wow.
About 4 years ago. So yeah, I set myself a goal, and in the first year,
I think I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, first year I think I came like 180th. Second year I came 16th. Third year I came 4th, and then the fourth year I won.
Wow.
And
Got there.
yeah, but the thing that I learnt over that journey was, bro, life's not the destination, bro. Like,
It's the journey.
Yeah. Like it took me 4 years to achieve that goal. And I finally reached the pinnacle, and I remember getting lifted on shoulders of my work colleagues. And I had this medal, like this fucking, I got a few medals at home. And it just meant nothing, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah, I didn't feel anything. And I just thought, you know, is that it? Like,
sometimes it's like an empty feeling, yeah?
Yeah, it was so empty.
Yeah.
And it's like life is about the now, and it's not about, you know, like, it's not there, bro.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
This is life, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, if you're going for a run, whatever run, man, like a training run, a race, whatever, every step you take, that is life, bro. That is life. And I know you...
So each step should be like a celebration, like if someone was lifting you up with medals in a way, and you just have that throughout the entire course, I think.
I think the general conditioning of the human mind is we're either ruminating on the past about shit that's fucking happened, or we're focused on the future. We're obsessed, man. Like, and in doing that, we lose
the
present joyous moment, bro. And like, I know you recently did the 25 press up challenge for 25 days, whatever. Bro, I did that as well. I still do it. That's part of my daily routine that I've just woven into brushing my teeth. But yeah, it's sometimes I'm doing these exercises, right, bro? All I'm thinking about is number 25. You know, I get down on the ground into the press up position, and the moment I start, all I can think about, bro, is 25. I just want to get that get that shit done.
Yeah.
It's about training your mind to slow it down, and every single rep you do, all you're thinking about is that rep. You're not thinking about the second one or the third or the fifth or the 10th or the 25th.
Yeah.
All you're thinking about is that one. And slow it down, bro. So don't be like fast. Just be like 1, 2, and be like that for everything. Like,
and what's the reason behind it, do you think? Like, what's the way that you can kind of summarize that thinking? That's when you know you're actually living in the moment.
You're living. Yeah.
It's the moment. Yeah.
It's the moment. And that's where the real joy is, bro, in life, because if you're thinking about the past, what happened yesterday, what mistake you made, or whatever. And if you're thinking about tomorrow, okay, I've got to do this podcast, I've got to, like do this for the chess thing, and this. You miss out on the present, bro.
And the present is where the opportunity is.
Yeah.
So that feeling of feeling empty is like when you look in the past, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
When you look in the future, it's like, well, one day I will get it. So you're looking where you didn't have it, or when you don't have it anymore, and when you're going to have it, that means you're thinking that you don't have it now.
Yeah.
But every day you have it.
That's
so
it.
It's just in front of you.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you do get it, right? So
well, you think you get it.
Well, when you actually get it.
But because you haven't trained your mind to see that it was in front of you.
Yeah.
When you think you get to a point, it's still invisible.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
And so you haven't trained your mind to recognize when you do reach it. So every time you get to that checkpoint, it feels empty
Yeah.
because you haven't taught yourself to recognize. And the only way to do it is like what you're saying, is to focus every moment, every day.
Yeah.
And more you do that, you start to see, you know.
And it doesn't matter what it is you're doing, man. So
No, everything.
you know, brushing your teeth, right?
Yeah, everything.
Because most people, right, they don't think of brushing their teeth.
They just want to do it, and next.
Or they're thinking of something else.
Too.
They're thinking of everything but brushing their teeth. So, you know, the next time you brush your teeth, like, you know, just take the top off the toothpaste thing.
Even feeling the sensation, you know.
Yeah.
I think using your senses to help you recognize that thing.
Yeah.
I think it helps.
Yeah, because we're never going to get to the destination, bro. We're never going to get there.
What is the destination?
It's never ending.
I think the destination is death.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's the final destination.
And we will all get there,
Yeah.
I think. Unless Elon Musk discovers something.
Oh, bro, I tell you what, my wife and I, we quite regularly have a discussion about this kind of thing, and we don't want to live another life, bro. We're just like, you know what, this has been a hard enough life as it is, and we don't want another one. Like, even my wife, like she's experienced some adversity, man. Like her father was a failed serial entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
And before we found out, you know, they owned 3 apartments in China, and everything on the surface looked all hunky-dory and dandy.
Wow.
Little did we know that, you know, he was doing all these failed business projects that he was always one more business project away from cracking it, but they just kept falling down. And he just was digging himself a deeper and a deeper hole to the point where the loan sharks kept coming knocking. And, cut a long story short, he ended up having to flee China because otherwise he would have gone to jail, and left my wife's mum. And she's in China, bro. Like, fucking, she's dedicated her whole life to him, and she's lived. I don't know if I've told you about this before. No. And she's had this government job, just, you know, worked, saved, just done a normal life.
The mother, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been taking all these risks, and so now he's living in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And, bro, he just got...
When did he move there?
About 4 years ago.
Oh, recent.
Yeah.
It's pretty recent.
And he's got a green card.
Green card.
He just got a green card, bro. So he got granted some sort of asylum. And then, just like last week, he got a green card, which we're quite...
Are they still, family still on good terms?
Oh... The mum and the dad, they don't speak.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe you could bring her over.
That's what we want to do, but at the moment, because he fled China so hastily, because he was going to go to jail, bro. So he just got
serious.
He actually came to Melbourne, so he freaked out. He flew from China to Melbourne, and got to Tullamarine, rang up Sophie and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here," and she's like, "What the fuck?" And so she went out to meet him at the airport and said, "No fucking way, you get your ass back on that plane and go back to China." And then he went back to China, and then he realised he was just panicking. He was panicking, you know, and then ended up in the States. But
out of desperation, eh?
It was either stay in China, face the consequences, go to jail, or try and go to another place and live a life there. So... Now he's over there. He's doing Uber Eats. Yeah, man. He's living a cheap kind of life and just surviving. And my wife's mum is still in China, and they're going through a court case at the moment. So they lost 2 of their apartments. 2 of their 3 apartments just gone, bro. Like repossessed. all that
Yep.
all that paid debt back. There's one last apartment which a lot of her personal money went towards, but because it's under her father's name and her mum's name jointly, they have to go through a legal process to sue her father so that they can sell it. So this is how ridiculous it is, bro.
Wow.
So that's the adversity that my wife has had to kind of go through. She's
going through that now, huh?
yeah, and she's had to deal with me, man. So I don't know how she's still standing, man. Like, she's just an absolute rock.
Yeah.
But I'm very blessed to have her in my life.
Very special lady.
Yeah.
For a very special man, huh?
Oh, dude, I don't know about special for me, but I try my best. I'm not perfect, man. I've made it
perfect.
I've made a lot of mistakes, man, and I still make mistakes, and I
think mistakes aren't a bad thing. Yeah, they're indicators, I think.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, I feel like there's a tiny little element of self-sabotage in some of my behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that there's certain things that I still do that are not 100% good for myself, but I still do it.
Yeah.
And it's not...
There must be reasons behind it, I think. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Awareness is a big thing, bro. Having mindfulness. Just having that mindfulness and just... I don't know if you do mindfulness or if you do meditation but I'm trying to get to a point where I can sort of separate my thoughts, because most human beings, like 99% of human beings, think that they are their thoughts. They think that they're their thoughts. You're not your thoughts, bro. But most human beings don't have the mindfulness and awareness to be able to separate their thoughts from who they are. Do you know? Is that too deep for you?
It is deep.
There's an average of 50,000 thoughts in the human brain a day. 50,000, bro.
On average.
On average. And a lot of those thoughts, well, most of those thoughts are in your subconscious, so you're not even aware that you're having those thoughts. There's a little voice in all of our heads that's always chattering away, bro, about whatever it is that's on your mind. And meditation and mindfulness is about getting to a point where it's still there, it's not taking it away, but it's having that awareness. So it's like you're observing your thoughts. And then once you're able to do that, I'm still working towards it. So
how do you do that? That's a difficult thing to comprehend. It's like you're using thoughts to manage thoughts, you know?
Yeah, and being able to observe them without judging. Do you know what I mean? So you've got a thought, and then that thought's in your mind, and then you're aware of it, but then you're not thinking about that thought. You're just observing it, and then it's just there, and then it just floats away, and then another thought comes in, and the same thing. Because most human beings, a thought will come in their brain, and then they'll think about that thought. So it'll be like, maybe
that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. So maybe in your life, like, let's say, for example, in one of your business things that you're doing at the moment, maybe you made a mistake, right?
Oh, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of mistakes.
Yeah, but in the present moment, so you'll see something, and then whatever that thing is that you see in the present moment will trigger what Ray did when he made that mistake. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you see it, and it's like suddenly a thought comes in your mind. Oh, fuck. There's a mistake that I made fucking 2 or 3 a week ago or whatever. And then you'll start thinking about that. You'll be like, oh, fuck, there's that thinking. But it's about, okay, you see that, and then the thought comes in your mind regarding that mistake, and then it's like you being able to step back and observe that, and then just like, poof, and not think about it. Because most human beings don't have that ability. They'll see something in the present moment, that'll trigger a memory from the past, and then they'll start thinking about it, and they'll be like, oh fuck, there's that mistake, I did this and I did that, and then this person was affected and that person was affected, and that was, and it goes down this whole rabbit hole, bro, of thinking.
Yeah, that is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I think the way I would look at it is more like a correction, right? It kind of gets away from the being in the moment thing, but when you've learnt that you've done a mistake, I think that helps you for just taking the next step. But then, if you want to get really deep, it's like kind of see it as you'll never make a mistake, because it was kind of meant to happen. You'll get to a point in your life where you are there, and if you accept yourself and your circumstances, that everything prior to that had to happen for you to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I kind of live. It's like I make mistakes in that sense objectively.
Yeah.
But I accept everything in a way that is not really a negative mistake.
Okay.
Bro, that my lack of vocab, but yeah, that's how I kind of live. Like, the whole thing where I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
So everything that's happened in my past, like the cancer, the almost dying, I've been beaten close to death, like so many adversities that I've come past.
Yeah.
I feel like I needed every single thing.
Yeah.
To get to this happy point.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of keeps me in this mind frame.
Bro, that's acceptance.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I think so, man.
And just by listening to you say the words that you've just said, bro, there was just this like real flicker of instant peace. Just hearing you say that, just like
I feel like I'm at peace.
Yeah.
So I hope, like, hope you find your own peace as well. Yeah.
Bro, that's my life goal, to find that, and it's a daily kind of thing. But to hear you describe, just how everything was meant to be to get to the point where you are in your life. Bro, it's so peaceful thinking about that. Do you know what I mean?
So why not?
It's
why not
like
think that way?
You're not beating yourself up for what you've done or what you haven't done up until that point. You're just like, okay, this is what needed to happen at that point in my life.
It's like part of my armor.
Yeah.
All the adversities in my past is just part of my armor,
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it's just kind of knitted into your fabric.
It's made, yeah, exactly. And I think that's why I'm just at peace, Like I feel like anything can happen, We walk out of here, something could happen. A million things can happen.
Yeah.
And I've just accepted it all.
Bro, I just see that just inspires me so much. I'm so far away from that point.
I think you're just there. I think you're already there,
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'll never give up, bro. I think one of my biggest strengths is that I just don't give up, man. Like I've been so close to just ending it so many times now, and like you were just saying just before, like, this adversity that you've faced to strengthen your armor. And once you've been to those places and you've come out the other side, it gives you a lot of strength knowing that you've been in those places and you have come out. So that really kind of helps you moving forward as well.
I think, that. But I think it's an understanding. There's no coming out the other side because there was nothing to go into.
Yeah.
you know? It's just all meant to happen in order for me. Like, the best way I could describe it is the next time you feel like this overwhelming sense of joy,
Yeah.
that's when you should remember, like, everything leading up to it.
Yeah.
Like, that all contributed to you getting to that point. And every point that you get to is a reminder that it's not that you're going into something hard hoping to get out. It's just that you were just absorbing it all to reach that overwhelming sense of joy and peace. And then when I do it, that's when the closest I feel like being in the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't thought it all the way through, but
Yeah.
it's just a way where I'm trying to articulate, my feeling, because being in the moment is probably the hardest thing I'm doing at the moment. Because for one, you can't say, it's hard to show other people that you're in the moment, let alone convince yourself if you are or if you aren't. So, yeah.
One thing that I kind of learnt recently is listening, bro. Listening is it's something that helps you stay in the moment because our minds are constantly fucking analyzing, man, like all the time. So from the moment words leave your mouth, my mind is fucking doing Russell Crowe, Beautiful Mind, on responding. Even before the last word of your sentence has come out of your mouth and the question marks on the fucking end of that sentence. But listening is
and
about...
then probably parallel to that, you're probably thinking of something totally different,
Exactly, man. Exactly, like fucking that Big Mac I'm going to get on the way home, whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's about having that awareness, right, of the predetermined response in your brain as your mind is conditioned. Having awareness of that and just be like, actually, no, I'm going to fucking listen to every single word that comes out of Ray's mouth and I'm going to give it time to sink in and then I'm going to respond. Bro, in my job, most people don't fucking listen, man.
Yeah, that's like most jobs.
Oh, dude, it's just like...
Especially management.
I'll ask a question and then I'll get an answer and then I'll repeat myself the exact same question. And sometimes I have to do that 3 or 4 or 5 times because people don't listen, bro. Most human beings are conditioned and they don't have the ability to be able to have that mindfulness and really separate that predetermined conditioned response from what is actually being said. Listening's so important, bro. It's so important. You love meeting people, Matt. You love meeting people.
I do, yeah.
And you love traveling and you love experiencing culture. And there's no better way in life, I believe, in my own opinion, of forming a true connection with another human being than listening, bro. If you can truly listen, bro, you're just gonna you'll meet someone and you will form that connection that can literally, it sounds cliche, but it'll fucking last a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that, I think for my own self, my anxiety provides the challenge with my listening. And I'll give you an example. So yesterday when I met my best friend and his wife and his children, and we're at this cafe in Point Lonsdale, and my wife's boss, one of their bosses, right, is there with his family. And he's this big guy, man. He's like fucking worth more money than I'll probably ever have in fucking 10 lifetimes. And I've got this preconditioned thing, right, in my brain. Because I know the guy owns a fucking house there. He's got another house fucking in Elstonwick. He's got fucking this and that and all this shit. And my mind just subconsciously, automatically thinks
like
about
stereotype.
Yeah, man. And I'm mindful of it. Like I'm aware what my mind's doing. And I'm a little bit anxious. Like I'm standing there and I'm having a conversation, but by the same time, I also want to listen, man. Like I really, really want to listen to what he's saying so that I can have that connection. And I don't want to seem like I don't want to judge anyone, man. But I fucking judge. And we judge.
I don't think judging's a bad thing, you know?
That's what my wife said. She said that that's not a bad thing as well. But anyway, yeah. So he was talking about his niece, because we got on a conversation of tennis, and I like tennis, and he said that his niece is like top 300 in Australia, and I was like, oh cool. We like what's her name, and her name is Kyra something Boldy, and I'm thinking, fuck, I want to remember that name, right? I want to listen,
Yeah.
and I want to remember that name, so that if I ever see you again, and we cross paths, I can say, hey, Bondy, his name's Bondy, this boss guy. How's your niece, Kyra, something Boldy, going on the tennis? And by remembering one name and one part of conversation, just through...
Strengthens the connection.
Just through active listening, bro. Oh, bro, it's... You just connect so deeply on another level with that human being.
I think because there's appreciation in it, you know?
Yeah, but...
Appreciation brings trust.
Yeah, but most people don't listen, bro.
No.
They'll ask a
Well,
question.
they'll listen, but whether or not they
hearing.
store the information or,
Yeah, like they'll ask a question, but are they really wanting to know the answer? Or are they just asking a question to make conversation?
Exactly, yeah.
And
oftentimes it's just conversation.
Yeah, just small talk bullshit. And so, yeah, like listening is just, I think it's the most important thing when you meet someone and you're trying to form like a human connection. If you can actively listen and take the time to be silent in your brain, bro, like to turn that predetermined conditioning response off, or just be mindful of it. And genuinely just create that space for those words to come out of the mouth and to just give it time. And don't even respond straight away, bro. Just let those words sink in and then respond. And remember things like I've got my retail manager at work, and I know he's got a dog called Sadie. I know that his wife's name is Kylie, and he's got 2 kids named Leo and May. And I know these things, man. And whenever I talk to him, I bring these up in conversation. Like, how's Sadie? Like, how's Leo and May? And, bro, people love that shit.
Yeah. I appreciate that sort of stuff, Yeah. So naturally people, because you're taking the effort to actually appreciate aspects of this person's life by remembering names, by remembering events. So people appreciate that.
They appreciate it, but most people,
a lot of people
they don't listen, bro.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize the effect it has.
They're not aware of. They don't have the awareness and the mindfulness of their automatic brain working. Like they're just not even aware of it. Like they're so entrenched in their thinking. These are the kind of people that think that they are their thoughts. They don't have the ability to separate what's going on in their brain and to be able to observe that. You're not your thoughts, bro. You're not. But yeah, these, and it's some of these people. It's it's frustrating, man. You really want to be able to just say, look, I'd love for you to learn a life lesson and just learn what listening's about. But you can't,
I think you should give people the benefit of the doubt, that maybe at that point in their life, maybe not. But who's to say that, something around the corner or something in the future, they actually get hit with something really big. And now they're on the same level as you, or like playing, having that awareness. I'm sure we both didn't have this level of awareness when we were younger.
No.
So everyone reaches that point in their own time.
That's true. That's true as well.
And that's why I think I have a lot of patience for people, because I just know that maybe if someone's not there yet, they'll get there in their own time.
Yeah.
But you have to allow them the time,
And that's also like a very admirable quality of yourself. Is it's like a non-judgmental sort of thing for you, because
still judging. It's just judging that they're not there yet.
That's true. But not in a negative way.
Yeah.
It's like, you're looking at it.
It's more understanding.
It's understanding.
I think understanding.
It's understanding, bro.
So underrated.
Yeah. I'll give you another just example of judging, which I was mindful of myself, just my automatic human response. So we met the parents of this kid who was staying with my best friend and his wife, and I'd never seen them before, and so they kind of turn up, and they're an odd-looking couple to look at physically. And the first thing I noticed, bro, was this woman's legs. She's got massive legs, bro, like massive legs. And I'm annoyed at myself because
you've noticed.
I'm like, this is a human being, man. Like, but I'm automatically judging this person because of their physical appearance.
I think we do that as humans.
But maybe the difference between yourself and me is that, like, I do it and then I feel bad about myself. Whereas you're probably like, oh yeah, that's just normal, and you don't take it any further than that.
I think it's natural.
Yeah. But you're not like,
oh, she's bad diet, no exercise.
Yeah.
No.
And you're not like you don't judge yourself for judging that person. So you're not like, oh yeah, she's big. Like that's what you do. So you judge her, right? You're saying that. But then you don't take it to the next level and be like, I feel bad because I've made that judgment.
No.
And that's where I'm at. So I
don't beat yourself up.
I beat myself up, bro. It's like I want to just see her for the human being she is, and regardless of her physical form or anything else, I just want to, like Buddha talks about being able to look at someone and just not have any judgments, just to see that person for who they are. But bro, it's so hard, bro.
Yeah,
so hard. Like
you don't know what you don't know, So
no.
These sorts of things probably can't be taught. You can't hear someone tell you and then okay, now I know.
It's getting back
you'll get there,
to what you were saying before. Like, staying in the moment is so hard, bro, and it's something that you have to be constantly aware of, because the moment you go back into your normal autopilot, then you're out of it. It's like boom, you're out of it.
You know what I think helps me? In a sense, is the notion of death.
Yep.
Every time I'm confronted with it,
yep,
that's when I feel the most alive.
Okay.
So reminding myself, a death of myself, or death of loved ones, death of people.
Yep.
It kind of puts things back into perspective.
Okay.
Not in a negative sense, but in a natural sense.
Okay.
Because when you speak of, taboo things like death,
yeah,
it's a bit hard to talk about. but it's almost like the jump start to getting back into that awareness state.
So you don't have, you're a very unique individual in that you don't have a fear of death, bro.
I don't think so.
Because most
I don't
human
have
beings,
a death wish.
but most human beings, they fear death. And it's funny because from the moment we're born, we're all going to die. It's inevitable. It's something that cannot be changed.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
We don't know what it's like outside in the cosmos.
No.
The rules might be different.
Yeah.
But here, right now on Earth,
yeah,
it's inevitable.
And you find comfort in it. Like when you're just
I think I just understand it to a point where I'm at ease with it.
Yeah.
You know? Just like you breathe.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, I'm going to die.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Wow, man. That just said shivers up my spine. Oh. That peace. I'm just kind of putting myself in your body for a second and trying to feel that feeling that you've just described. Like,
it wasn't something that like someone spoke to me or, I read something that sparked it off.
Yeah.
It was actually life events like the cancer, like the, almost dying in so many different situations, having COVID, these times of reflection. You could even say it was like a form of meditation, when I went through these things. I mean, it wasn't too different to how people explain what meditation is. So maybe it was just a different form that I went through. But you can't be taught from external sources. It's all internal.
Yeah. And you're so right in you're saying that, bro. It's like my whole life I've seeked externally ways to inner engineer myself. But like in your experience, no one's taught you that breathing like me is just like death for you. You've had to live that experience to get to that point. I
haven't always had that level of understanding.
Yeah.
It's just something that's happened throughout the journey. And we all have that journey,
Yeah, it's just, bro, I'm just, like hearing you talk so calmly about that topic, man. It just, it just makes me feel calm, bro.
It's good. It's positive.
Yeah, it's like,
I'll take it a step further. The way I look at my life, because I'm like in my past, I've always been very like goal orientated, like heavy. And I was getting to those points where I'll achieve some big things, travel around the world, achieve this, achieve that. And then I noticed I was kind of feeling like this empty feeling every time I got to these checkpoints. But I still have this drive to keep going and setting goals. So I feel like I kind of cracked the code in a way, in a sense, for me, my own, like, if life is a game, it's like, you clocked your own game. And I think for me, often I used to say, it's not the destination, that it is the journey, right?
Yeah.
Like we say that. But then I realized for me, it is kind of the destination. The destination is death. So I don't want to come off
Morbid.
yeah, morbid. But yeah, it can sound a little bit scary, but this is my honest thoughts. Is like my ultimate destination is death.
Yeah.
So I reverse engineered that path. So what do I want to do and achieve before then?
Yeah.
And I worked my way back. So instead of having these like, oh, I want to achieve this, you know, I want to be first in this, or I want to do this and that, unless basically like this, unless I'm willing to die after I achieve that goal, then I don't want to set that goal from the beginning.
Okay.
So that's what made me realize whatever goal I decide now, I have to be accepting of death, like literally. Like I got to die after that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the world peace comes from. So once I get to that checkpoint in my mind where I've reached that, then I can just let go of everything and just let it happen naturally and say farewell to everything on this earth. Not in a negative way, not in a I'm hurting, but that's kind of my destination. And so from the world peace thing, and I basically have like 9 stages to get there. So that's the 9th stage.
Okay.
In this idea that I have. And so leading up to it, it's like checkpoints, stages until I get to that stage. And then once I get there, instead of having the emptiness, I'm willing to let it all go.
Okay.
That's how I think I'm going to live this life, the rest of my life. And so death is a part of this. It's the journey and the destination at once.
Wow.
You know?
Oof.
It's not like, you know, like I said, it's not a death wish.
You're the first person that I've ever met.
And it's not suicidal.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
But eventually we're gonna get there.
Yeah. It's not like you're gonna make a decision on when your life ends, but
no, I'm gonna let it happen naturally.
You're gonna let it happen naturally, but you've incorporated that as an end goal, as the final destination.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I've never spoken to another human being that has described death the way that you just have now. That's amazing, man.
It's part of life, you know?
Yeah. Do you think by you like describing it in that way, does that help you with your inner peace? Like, does that take some of
like describing it?
Well, yeah. Just does it take some of the fear away of like the final destination? Like by you re-engineering your life and like starting here and then working back, does that remove some of the fears?
So the fear is absent of death. I think I had to achieve that first, and then it allowed the thoughts of, well, what am I going to do then?
Yeah.
You know? So I think just going through, you know, these times of, you know, self-meditation, as you might say, having cancer, lying on a bed for 2 months, having COVID, lying on a bed for 2 weeks, all these, I think it led me to accepting death. That death is not a bad thing. I don't want to die, but like you said, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. You know? So then the question was, what am I doing then? And so I think that helped me branch off from understanding that that's where I'm going.
So the world peace, did that come after this or was that before this? Like before?
I think it was before.
Okay.
Like personally, I think it was before. Like I've always had like this idea. Like I've always felt like I'm a problem solver because I can get obsessed with trying to figure things out. And I think it just kind of expanded from there. And eventually, you know, you want to do the biggest and hardest puzzles. And at some point in my life, I just thought, what's the hardest one? And I think for me, I think that's probably the hardest one I could think of.
Wow. Bro, it's just like, I don't know, like I hear you describing, you know, this goal of world peace for you, and it's limitless. It's like there's no.
But that's just my journey, you know.
There's no boundaries, bro. I naturally think of myself, and I think you and I polar opposites in terms of that thinking. Like you're just so open and free and unrestrictive, right? And mine is diametrically opposed to exactly what you've just described. Like mine's caged and limited and survival, and
not to say that that's a bad thing either, you know?
Yeah.
This is you. This is what works for you.
Yeah.
And not to say that it's right or wrong.
No. And that's just it as well, isn't it? It's like
everyone's different. You know?
Everyone's different, man. Everyone's on their own journey, and it all comes back to what we were saying before, and acceptance. It's about getting to that level of acceptance of who you are, and regardless of the circumstances that you were exposed to growing up, or whatever the case may be, like and like what you were saying before, every single interaction or thing that we have encountered in our lives up until this very day on a Sunday at fucking 7 a.m. on this hot stinking day to get into this room.
Yeah.
It's
meant to be.
It's meant to be, bro. And yeah, just that acceptance, like being able to just take the time in your brain to digest that, and it's calming, eh? It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like,
I know exactly what you mean.
It's calming, bro. It's just like,
this is why I repeat it.
Yeah.
It's meant to be, you know?
Yeah. And
it helps me on my day-to-day. It helps on a micro, macro level. Something could happen. Maybe you didn't turn up. It's meant to be, you know?
Yeah. You don't look at it as...
Maybe we might record a bad podcast. Or, you know, not bad, but any little thing.
Yeah.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. There's no negative, there's no positive. It's just what is.
That's it. Just
it is
enjoy.
what is.
That's the key.
It kind of makes me think about like another thing that has come up in the past, just to bro, you know, you're driving and you get a flat tire, right? And you got to change that flat tire, right? But it's all about how you process what has happened, right? So a lot of people will freak out and they'll be in, you know, this anxious state. You know, my tire's flat. What do I do? You know, have I ever changed a tire before? If I have, when was the last time I did it? And am I going to be able to do it? Rah, 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 rah.
It's a natural subconscious, you know?
Yeah, but it's only a problem if your mind makes it a problem. If your mind doesn't make it a problem, it's not a problem, bro. It's all about, it's choice. It's choice. And if you have the awareness and the mindfulness to not react instinctively.
I think you still got to react.
You still got to react?
Or how do you react, you know?
Well, I think you've got to react if you're on the front of a ute and you're going through a drive-through.
Yeah.
To save your legs. But I think
it's react and appreciation.
Yeah.
I think appreciation is a good tool. You know, you have a flat tire. Well, appreciate that you have a car.
Yeah.
You know, appreciate that you might have a spare tire. Appreciate that you have the tools to change the tire.
Exactly.
Someone might pull over, give you a hand. You can appreciate that. You might even start a friendship with the person.
Yeah. See, because the way that my anxious mind naturally works, so we actually drove past a car on the way to the beach yesterday who had a flat tire, bro. And I'm just
You don't have to stop for people.
I'm just like looking at, I think they were okay. Like I could see that they had what they needed and they were halfway in the process of changing it. But the way
you don't have to stop for, you know.
Nah.
That's the freedom of choice, you know, and you should be able to exercise your choices.
Yeah, but I'm looking at that instance thinking if it was me, like, you know, I'd probably be freaking out, man, to be honest with you. My natural state of my mind would be to freak out. It's
that's a natural response too.
Yeah, but
on the subconscious, you know.
Yeah, but it's only
because you might be trying to get somewhere quick, you know. Oh, obviously you're trying to get somewhere,
bro. We're all always trying to get somewhere, aren't we? It's like, and this is a big problem with humanity as well. Is that, you know, we're always trying to get somewhere, bro. Like, from the moment I get in the car this morning, and I'm thinking, you know, we're going to raise, what we're going to talk about, you know, like the whole journey from Manor Lakes to Hoppers Crossing this morning. And I'm not in the moment, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
I know what you
my
mean.
mind is projecting in the future. Like, are we going to be sitting at a table? Are we going to be sitting in his bedroom?
Preparing for things, you know?
Yeah. And getting back to the moment, like, you know, we keep getting back to this moment, but yeah, like to be able to be whatever it may be, like sitting in the car and just be in that exact moment, bro. And you know, you're at a traffic light, right? And you got cars in front of you, and
usually people just want the green, you know?
Yeah, it's like just go, and it's just like just let it go, bro. Just let it go. Just be like, just kind of take it all in. I'm alive. Like, I'm in a car. I shouldn't be thinking about, you know, and that's another thing as well, bro, because I'm all about punctuation and
that's a good quality, huh?
Yeah, but
it's a good virtue.
It is a good virtue, but I'm looking at the clock, bro. The whole time I'm
like
driving.
You feel governed by the clock?
Yeah, man, and because I wanted to get a coffee on the way, and I knew that I left it a bit tight, and I'd kind of went through the drive-through and got my coffee, and then I'm driving to your place, your mum's place here, and I'm constantly looking at the clock, just going, you know, like 6:50, 6:52, looking at the GPS, how much longer we go, and completely out of the moment, bro. I'm just like obsessed with time and being here by 7. Another thing,
you made it, so that's good.
Yeah. Another thing that I just want to briefly mention to you as well, just another kind of personal development that I've done, is this thing called Landmark Forum. Have you heard of the Landmark Forum before?
No. What is it?
Man, it's a really...
It's online?
You can read about it.
Okay.
It's very hard to describe, but it's a personal development thing. I've done what's called the curriculum of living. So the first part of it is called the Landmark Forum, which is done over 4 days. And then once you complete that, there's the next part of it, which is called the advanced course. And that's another...
So what was the first one?
The Landmark Forum.
Oh, yep.
And then the second part is the advanced course.
Okay.
And then the third part is the self-expression and leadership course. So it's quite a powerful kind of a personal development. And just not to go too much into detail about it, but one part of it is, so in life, we have experiences, whatever they may be. And through these experiences we have in life, what we do as human beings is we create a story associated with what actually happened. And most of the time, or a lot of the time, the stories we create based on what happened dictates our thinking and can influence every single aspect of our life. I'll give you an example. So not that long ago, I sent a message to a friend just through Facebook Messenger. And this particular friend didn't automatically reply to my message.
But you could see they've seen it.
I'm trying to think. I think they had seen it. And so a day or two or three or four passed, and I created a story in my head that this particular person has got a beef with me about something that I don't even fucking know about. And this is the reason.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
This is the reason why this person has decided not to fucking reply to my message.
Yeah.
And so I created a story.
Yeah.
But it's just a fucking story. And then, anyway, about a week later, this person replied, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, like I saw your message, and then I just forgot to get back." And then she replied, and I got a response to my question. And
did it change the story?
Oh, bro, it just made me think of how much human beings are dictated to by stories they create in their head. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
So there's things in life that happen, and it can be fucking bad shit, bro. Like in this landmark forum, one of the girls who did the forum at the same time as me, she had an experience where her brother sexually abused her as a child. Her elder brother, and traumatic things, bro. Like just, I can't even begin to imagine the effect that would have on her. And then with the Landmark Forum, what they do is they say, look, like what actually happened, and
she laid it out,
bro. It was fucking raw and brutal, but they managed to separate the two things. And when you're able to separate the two things, it enables you to be able to get a distinction. And that distinction...
so what was the two things in that case?
So...
The actual act?
So the actual act... So what actually happened? So, her brother, like, sexually abused her. He took her clothes off. He did bad things to her, blah, 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 blah. That's what happened. And then the story that she created in her mind was that,
story, yep.
She's not good enough. She deserves to be abused.
No.
All of these, like, stories that she creates in her head as a result of being sexually abused by her brother.
Okay.
And so they get that distinction, and then she's able to distinctly separate those two things in her brain. Because before you distinguish them, she thinks that what happened and the story are the same thing.
Yep.
But when you're able to separate them, then you understand that how your brain has worked, as it's created a story in her head about physically being sexually abused by her brother, that she's not good enough, she deserves to be abused, all of these bad things, which is none of it's true. But being able to separate the two, she's able to kind of understand how that story she created in her mind has infiltrated into her life, and how she can kind of move forward. Because every human being is exactly the same. We do
tell ourselves stories.
We tell ourselves stories, bro, all the time. And And
That's a
they're
good
just-
one you came up with, the old messenger one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that, you know, the whole scene thing.
Bro, it's just a story. It's all it is. And, you know, in life, you know, just simple communication, bro. It's just like, you know, you may think based on something that it's a certain way, and it's not at all, but it's just a story you've created in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, what's this beef? What did I do? What did I say?
Yeah, exactly.
What did they hear? Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, that's why communication's just so important, bro. It's so important. And
So important, yeah.
it's the most important thing. And then getting back to the listening again.
There's so many aspects too, you know, in relationships, friendships, even with yourself.
I think, yeah, it's that's probably the most important one.
Yeah.
With yourself.
Yeah, because that kind of dictates how your behavior towards everything else.
Bro, I struggle with being kind to myself, and you know, it's something that I continually try to work on for myself, but there's so many negative kind of thoughts that go on in my mind. And I suppose, like what you were saying before, like it's being able to have that awareness, to be able to listen to what's going on in your mind, and to not, just to not give meaning to what's actually occurring in your mind. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough, man. But but another thing that I want to talk about too is, and I think we touched on it before, is just to be grateful. Appreciation. Like,
that's a good tool. Yeah.
For all of the pain that we've endured, bro, we're here. We're still alive. Like, one thing I did notice when I drove here, even though I was looking at the fucking clock every fucking 2 minutes, the sunrise, bro.
Yeah. It's nice, huh?
Bro, like this raging, massive, like, fireball, like, coming up, and I'm just driving towards your mum's house here, and it's just like, I'm just in awe of this, just a sunrise, and just being grateful, bro. Like, you know, like I'm still here, you're still here.
Exactly.
Like we could already be 6 feet under quite easily.
We could be watching this podcast in the future thinking, man, I miss being this skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I think as much as there is pain.
We could be old men, you know, looking back.
Oh, bro, I hope we are. I hope one day, you know, you and I will be able to look at this podcast, bro, and
that's why I do a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Photos and videos. Just look back, you know.
Yeah. It's really it's kind of cathartic, and it's therapeutic. Just talking, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And brutally
kind of lifts weight off, you know.
Yeah, just brutally raw honesty, and you know, we've touched on some really taboo subjects, like in different ways, like actually the same but different. So, you know,
we've only just scratched the surface too. Eh? It's got to start somewhere.
It's funny, eh? Like it's both about death, but a different, like in terms of perspective and
perspective, yeah.
Yeah. So, bro, you've forever altered you've definitely shed a different light on how I'll view death in the future. That's for sure. It's like,
what are you going to do till then, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where the journey is important, is until you get there.
Yeah.
But I think you got to plan for the destination.
Yeah.
In a sense.
9 steps.
9 stages, yeah.
9 stages. So have you got a timeline on the 9 stages as well?
There's no timeline.
No timeline, just stages. Yeah.
One thing that kind of crossed my mind just as we were talking then is like another, I don't know if it's taboo now, but another topic is like substances. So have you been on, you said you've been on medication for things or?
I'm on medication now.
Yep.
So currently I'm taking an antidepressant, I think anti-anxiety medication, which I've been on for about 2 weeks.
Yep.
I'm also taking sleeping pills. So I took the sleeping pill last night.
Do you feel like it's helping? Helps?
I know, because I've been in this dark place a few times in my life now. And because I've been there and experienced it, I'm a bit more prepared and I know what I need in this moment.
Yep.
So, I know that I need what I need to do for now.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, I'm anti-medication. Prior to this latest episode that I'm currently in, I got bitten by my dog on my nose. And I went to see a doctor just to get a tetanus injection. And my wife knew that I was kind of on the verge of going into another episode. And she said to me that, I should talk to my doctor about, maybe going on some medication as well. And I just, because I'm anti-medication, I said to her, look, I don't want to have that conversation. And anyway, so I went and saw the doctor. I got a tetanus injection, and that was that. And then about, I think it was around that time or maybe a day before, I started waking up at 4 a.m. And I didn't think anything of it. Like there was 2 days in a row, and I woke up at 4, and it was okay. Like I wasn't that anxious. And anyway, on the Sunday, I went and met a friend, and we went flying. He's a pilot, and he took me flying, and had a fucking amazing.
Was that recent?
Yeah,
I think I saw that. Yeah,
about 3 weeks ago. And
I think I saw that somewhere.
Oh, it was an amazing day, and so went flying with him. Got some amazing fruit afterwards. Got these fucking amazing mangoes, bro, the juiciest mangoes, apricots. Went back to his house, had a couple of Coronas. Drove back to our house. A work colleague and his wife are building a house just down the road from us, and they've just moved in. So ended up going to their house, and had a bottle of wine. They had some like sushi and stuff for us, and it was fine. And basically, I had the best day. And then that night, I couldn't sleep, and I went to bed, and I tossed and turned, and I was in a bad state, and I just knew at that point in time that I'm going into this latest episode that I'm currently in, and then on the Monday I went and saw a doctor, and I just,
so just recent, yeah,
like just over 2 weeks ago.
I've heard it can help, but everyone's different. So.
Yeah, and it was quite funny, he's because he knows that it's the same doctor, so he's like, so he knew I'd been bitten by the dog, and he's like, oh, put 2 and 2 together, so you're anxious because you got bitten by the dog. Nah, bro, I'm not scared of my dog. This is something that's been with me since I'm 6 years old, and it's just another episode that I'm going through. And then
that you've recognized.
Yeah, just having that awareness, and I just knew I had to go on medication. There's just no two ways about it. So, so I got them to prescribe me exactly the same medication as I was on about 2 years ago, and I've been on that medication for just over 2 weeks. So, and I've just remembered I didn't take my pills this morning, so I better take them when I get home.
Yeah, that's it. What about like other substances? Do you think, like, a lot of people? See, I've never done drugs in that sense. Like alcohol, yes, but
Yeah, I've never had an issue. I during ISO last year, I've always had a passion for red wine, and after a few years, I kind of just gave it away, and it wasn't until isolation last year, and I rediscovered my passion for red wine. So last year, man, I probably spent about $5,000 on red wine, and so I.
You must know some good stuff.
Oh, dude, it's an expensive hobby, I'll tell you that. We actually went to Adelaide for Christmas, so went and visited a couple of wineries of the wines that I've bought in ISO. So it was nice to kind of physically go to the wineries of the wines I've been drinking.
Wow.
But yeah, man, it's always been social for me. Like I've never had an issue. My mum, she was like an alcoholic. I think she still is an alcoholic. My dad has also had issues with alcoholism in the past. He doesn't at the moment. My mum, she has smoked marijuana, like from as young as I could remember. What was that?
Which was a teen?
Nah,
Not
bro.
sure.
Like adult.
Adult. Yeah.
I don't know if she still does it now, but she definitely was doing it. When I was still living with her. Myself, no. I've experimented. So I sat next to an ice addict in one of my jobs in New Zealand.
Oh, really?
And he was constantly telling me that I need to try this ice drug, and I'm just like, nah, man, I'm okay. And every day he'd be like, oh, come on. And then one day he pressured me into trying it. He said, look, if you just try it once, and then you can say you've done it, and then you don't have to do it. So I relented in the end, and I ended up trying this ice drug. And
how far back was this?
Ooh, dude, this would have been probably about 15 years ago.
That's still quite on the low back then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Now it's like everywhere.
It's out of control now.
Yeah, out of control.
But it was pretty low.
We didn't know too much back then, I think.
Nah. But I mean, I can honestly say that I only ever did it once, and I'll tell you the reason why I only did it once.
That's
but
right, man.
I felt like Superman, bro.
Yeah?
I felt like I could walk into any room, talk to anyone.
Like in strength, or just ability to just get
just the supreme,
just to do whatever you like, confidence,
supreme confidence.
Oh wow,
supreme confidence. Like I just zero inhibitions. Like it's like we've been talking today about all this preconditioning, right? So you're into a room and you're judging and you're freaking this and that and this and that. All of that goes, bro. There's none of that. You walk into a room, and every single person, it doesn't matter who they are,
just locked,
bro. Just go up, feel comfortable as. Like you're like that normally. That's just Ray. Like
that must be on ice.
That's just Ray
that's
natural.
The trick.
But so it was the most amazing feeling I think I've experienced in terms of a drug. Anyway, so I had it the once, and I ended up staying at the guy's apartment in the city, who was the guy who introduced me to the drug. And there was another work colleague staying in the same apartment. And anyway, when we were sleeping, he ended up going into my wallet. And he stole cash out of my wallet. And then he drove to where the drug dealer was, and he bought more drugs. And to make it even worse, he blamed the cash being stolen out of my wallet by the other work colleague who was staying in the apartment. So it was
the writings on the wall. It's like,
it was the behavior associated with the drug
yeah,
that I said to myself, I'm never ever ever
Turned you
gonna
off
I'm
in
never
a way.
gonna take that drug again, like never. And I haven't. So, and also the
But it's
taste,
true.
bro.
Yeah.
The taste, like
What?
the
Pleasant or?
no, the chemical ingredients that it's made out of, bro. We have got no idea what's in that shit. Like, we got no idea. And I remember waking up for the next week, and every single day I had this horrible chemical taste in my mouth. And I thought, fuck, I'm going to spend the rest of my life waking up with the taste of chemicals in my mouth. And it took at least 7 days for me not to be able to wake up with that taste of chemicals.
Oh, wow. I never heard that before.
Bro, it was so strong. It was like having some kind of magnesium, aluminium, like just like a chemically taste in your mouth.
You think of chemicals, that's what it is, eh?
Yeah.
Because I've been around people that smoked it. I've never had it myself, but I've always been surrounded by people doing all sorts of stuff. But you could smell, it does have like a chemical smell, eh?
Bro, it's so powerful. But you can see why it's so addictive. Because the feeling that it gives to you, it's indescribable. Like I've told you as accurately as I can.
Yep.
And I can still remember on that, because I only ever took it once, how I felt. But yeah, once you feel that way and you get to that euphoric kind of state, then it's very hard.
Want it.
It's very hard to go back, because you want to have that as your natural state, which is not entirely achievable.
Yeah, achievable.
So then the behavior comes in, so that you're going to do whatever you need to do to get money to keep buying that stuff. And it's just...
And it's true. That's what people do, yeah?
Bro, people will do whatever they can to get their hands on that stuff.
It was good someone tried to steal your money and led you to this path.
But not only steal my money, but then blame it on someone else.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you stole my money, that's fine, but and then you try to say that you did it. Yeah, it's like, and then my other friend gets blamed for something he didn't do, and it was just really ugly behavior. And
that's what it breeds, isn't it? Ugly behavior.
So bad. It's so bad. But
like, people rob their grandmothers and stuff, you know?
Well, yeah, man. But
the conscience goes out the window.
But I think, Ray, it's like human beings, they're looking for something in their lives to make them feel better, bro. Whether it's a soy latte.
There must be the natural dopamine release.
Bro, whether it's social media, whether it's...
it's another drug, isn't it?
It's the worst, man. True story, yesterday when we went and met my friends down at the beach, Point Lonsdale, I made a conscious choice, and it's for the first time in fucking... Bro, years, man.
Yeah.
I didn't take this phone out of a bag.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To the point where, when I went and checked Facebook at the end of the day, because I hadn't been in there, it had logged me out. I've never been logged out since I fucking put that application on my phone fucking 10 years ago. And it was so nice to consciously make that decision to put that fucking phone away for the entire day, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
liberating,
bro. If we live in a world now, and this deprives us of the moment as well. We're not concerned with, oh, that's a beautiful sunrise.
It's a virtual moment.
We're concerned with, let's take a photo of that beautiful sunrise and let fucking everyone else see it.
Yeah.
And we're depriving ourselves of that.
You get dopamine hit from the reactions. Yeah.
And it's
the
like,
comments, the reactions.
Bro. And this is the world that we live in. Like, we we're depriving ourselves of being able to just be in the moment because we're so caught up in
the drug.
Bro.
It's a drug.
Of the videoing and the photoing and the fucking we need to let
and the likes.
We need to let everyone else fucking know about it. It's like you actually don't. And yeah, it's it just gets all consuming.
Same kind of principle with the ice thing, isn't it?
Well, like can
ice
we...
is a chemical that releases, the dopamine and all sorts of things. We get tiny drips, drips from more, like a latte or something like that. So what do we do? How do we manage it?
Bro, is it
There's something I'm trying to figure out,
like caffeine, alcohol, sex, gambling,
we don't get rid of it all.
exercise.
Exercise, yeah.
It's,
how do we how do we utilize it in a more positive sense, And I'm thinking for everything.
I think human beings, we don't like uncomfortable, bro.
I think some people do.
The people who like the uncomfortable are the people who are on the path to acceptance. The people who don't like the uncomfortable are a lot more further away from that acceptance point. And when you're in that uncomfortable state, you're looking to get comfortable, man.
Comfortable, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're looking to get comfortable. You're looking for anything that can get you a bit of comfort. But it's only ever temporary, bro. Like, that's only going to last fucking 15 minutes. I'll put a photo up, you might get 50 likes, so it's fucking gone.
And it's gone in a few seconds.
It's gone.
You got a hit and it's gone.
You have a bottle of wine and you may feel okay for an hour. And then if you have 3 bottles, you feel like shit for 2 days.
Yeah.
It's all temporary, bro.
Yeah, so what do we do?
It's about, like I was saying before, and you said that there are some people out there, it's about being comfortable in the uncomfortable. And it comes back to the acceptance again.
I think you're right, yeah. I don't think it's so much that people like being uncomfortable, but I think to speak on myself, it's not that I like to be uncomfortable. I think I'm just at ease with being uncomfortable at times, it's both. So
you're not fighting it. You're not having that natural.
Like I'm with it,
Yeah.
As opposed to rejecting or,
You're not repelling it.
Repelling.
You're not repelling it, bro. You're embracing it.
Embracing it.
You're embracing
That's
it.
probably the better word, yeah.
Yeah.
Embrace.
And most human beings are repelling, bro. They're like, I just don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel it.
The more they resist, the heavier I think it becomes.
Exactly.
And then it kind of reinforces the idea to resist.
Yeah.
Because it's so heavy.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and this is why I think for me personally, like the meditation, which is something that I know that is really important, but I'm 46 now and I'm doing it, I'm consistently trying it, but I haven't got to getting back to the journey, man. It's like it's enlightened. It's enlightened. It's I think I've got to approach it a different way, because I think at the moment I'm looking at meditation as a cure for my anxiety.
I think it's still a good tool,
Yeah.
Just got to keep using that tool, I think, you know?
Yeah, but I think what you've said is relevant as well too. It's just like you've got to find out yourself what it is, and you've got to come to that conclusion yourself personally.
Yeah.
And like we've said it again and again, but you can look as much as you like externally at so many different things, but at the end of the day, you can do limitless external things. Regardless of what you're doing, it's going to come from within. Ultimately, that's where it's going to come from.
Ultimately, yeah.
So, how do you get to that point? There's
Death.
no one path. Death, yeah. Death, bro. Death.
Address death in yourself.
Yeah. It's just so powerful. It's so powerful, man.
It is.
No one talks about it.
That's probably a big reason why, you know, the world is the way it is at the moment.
I think. Do you think it's because we just want to ignore it? Like we just don't.
I think we do.
We don't want to think about it.
I think a lot of people think that it's not going to happen.
We're scared to think about it. Like,
or probably believe that death comes later when you're 90 or 100 plus.
When it could come like the moment I step outside this house, bro. You know?
The moment someone listens to this.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Yeah. It's it's
But
funny.
the thing is, we know it is going to happen. So then what do? Reverse engineer this life plan that each of us have for ourselves. So like I gave an example, once I recognized that, reverse engineered what I think. So like it's like changing your plan, because I think most people look too short term. People misconstrued like long term as being like 10, 20 years. Long term should be till you die, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think once you change that, like, you know, 2-5 year plan into like the rest of your life plan, I think for me anyway, it does bring a sense of like calmness and a level of peace. So I think some personal advice, I think maybe focus on that, you know, reverse engineer from death.
Yeah.
And also like learn from each other, you know, take what you think works for you. Don't take everything, you know. Like what I'm saying to you and like with people here, what I'm speaking about, you know, I wouldn't advise to take everything I say, but just take things that you feel are going to help you.
Yeah.
And I think once we start doing that, we'll build this kind of compounding effect. Because everyone is different, you know. We're all, each of us have our own journey, you know. But one thing we can say is that the destination is death.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. I'd love for you to, you know, like do a TED talk and in front of an audience and say that are those exact same words and just get the response of the different audience members to see how they react to that, to what you say. I've
got to do a lot of podcast episodes before we even start talking about TED Talks.
Oh man, it's just I think it's.
But see what I mean by like just how valuable this information is, you know? You and I just sharing the moments and sharing the experiences that we've had. You know, 46, you know, I'm 36. That's like years of experience, and we're trying to compress it in a couple of hours. So there's so much we still have to talk about, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's just 2 out of how many billion people on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we're so unique. Like every single human being on the planet is different, man.
Unique, yeah.
It's crazy
exactly
to think there's no other Ray, man, and there's no other Chris on this entire planet. Like we are the only ones of our kind, and it's a pretty special thing when you kind of think in that way. But yeah, it's about acceptance. It's about,
you know what I think it is? Personally, I think it's for me to enjoy. So we can mention everything, like being in the moment, acceptance, gratitude, appreciation, all those things. I look at it as tools to enjoy.
yeah.
So I might have to think of a better word than enjoy. But that's what I remind myself every time, you know. Like I said, this life, I look at it like a roller coaster. You know, you have the ups and downs, but I'm just enjoying the ride as I go, you know.
Bro, it's inspirational to hear you talk in that way about life. It's dude, I would love to be on the raid train, man, and
But take what works for you, man. You know?
yeah, it's but perspectives.
You're quite inspirational as well, you know, not to take anything away from yourself, you know.
Man, I don't know. I just I try and be the best version of myself. Yeah, just keep going, never give up. Be the best person that you can be. But it's tough.
I think you're doing a good job, man.
Thanks,
Great
man.
job.
Thank you.
I had no idea, you know, you're going through some pretty tough things.
Yeah, you need. It's important as well to force yourself to do uncomfortable things. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, have that. Water break.
Awesome. Like yesterday, for example, like I didn't want to go and see my friends because I woke up at 2:00 in the morning and I couldn't get back to sleep again. And
just make sure you grab the mic, man.
Every
oh no, keep it with you.
Every fiber in my being was telling me not to go yesterday, and even just the simple thing of getting out of bed was incredibly hard for me. So I got out of bed, I forced myself to do my exercise, and then just got the wife and we got in the car with the dog and we just drove, man. And I was so much better for having forced myself to do that. Because a lot of human beings, they're just dictated to by fear, bro. Like to the point where, like we were saying before, they're just paralyzed. They literally can't move. They can't move. And you've got to push through that uncomfortableness and force yourself to do things that sometimes you just don't feel like doing it.
That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like, even like coming here today, you know, as soon as you invited me on the podcast, you know, there's this anxiety coming up. It's just like, sure. You know, Ray wants me to go on this podcast.
Yeah, what is it about?
Yeah, and your mind starts thinking, and it's like, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm going to fucking do it. And I don't give a shit, you know. I might be scared and fears and this and that, but
natural.
It's natural, man. It's like fear is just, it's part of life. It's most human beings have some degree of fear inside them, and it's about whether you let that fear dictate your life, or it's whether you know, embrace it and push through it, and despite whatever feelings it may cause, you still live life. You still have to live life, man. It's so important. You can't let fear dictate your life.
100%, man. Embrace, accepting and embracing situations. You know, I think that's a good key point, really.
You just got to keep pushing, man. You've just never, ever, ever give up. It's the most important thing.
So what's your reason? What is Chris's reasons? Do you have reasons? I'm just thinking for other people, it's easy to tell someone never to give up. But how do you make it actually work for them?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I'm going to bring up some notes on my phone.
Yeah, man.
So there's not too many times in my life where I actually feel calm. So in last year, there was 3.5 days where I felt calm, bro.
3.5?
Out of 365 days. So on the 26th of May, I feel strangely calm. It's a foreign feeling to me. 24th of June last year, I feel confident. 22nd of September, I feel calm. And then on the 11th of December, just in the afternoon, I feel calm. So in 365 days of the year, there's 3.5 days that I felt calm and confident and just kind of normal, whatever that word may
that's
mean.
normal for you, yeah?
What's normal for me. So what is my reason? My reason is for these 3.5 days. So I know in my mind that there's the possibility of being able to feel that, even if it's
like the capability,
even if it's fleetingly and it's temporary and it's not, it's like Halley's Comet doesn't come around often. But that's the reason that keeps me moving forward, because I know
like hope.
Yeah, it's like that. There's that potential there. So
it's like proof of concept. It's like you can reach that state.
You can reach that state,
but it honestly isn't easy for everyone.
No.
So did you recognize anything that happened or like a pattern? Could you put it down to something?
Nah, man. It's like my brain it's a wild stallion, and it's never been able to put a bridle on it. So, that's the probably the easiest way I can metaphorically describe my brain. It just does what it wants. And I feel like I'm a passenger, and I never know how it's going to be from one moment to the next. So, and that, I think that's another thing that's a little bit frustrating for me, is that on the surface, and we've already touched on this before, I've got everything. Right. Everything in life is sweet for me, man. Like, I don't ever worry. Like, if you look at everything in my life, there's nothing that I should be worrying about, like, at all. Like, nothing. And yet, I'm worrying about everything.
Yeah, like, you look youthful. You're pretty fit and healthy,
It's funny.
I always see you smile.
Bro, it's funny. You say I look youthful. I feel like I'm about 60, but thank you for the compliment. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm proud of myself for my dedication.
That's
like, bro, I'm fucking self-disciplined, man. Yeah. And like when I won that,
that's pretty difficult to achieve.
When I won that
self-discipline,
yeah, when I won that Corporate Games 5K, bro, that was 4 years of a goal, dedication, and just running fucking every second day for 4 years. And even last year, like you know how we both did the 25-25, and I've just continued that on, and I've woven that into my.
It's like a habit, yeah,
bro. It doesn't matter whether it's Monday or Sunday. It doesn't matter whether maybe I've had a big night, I'm hungover. I do not miss doing my set routine every single day.
That's cool. I like that.
And I'm fighting myself, bro. Like my mind doesn't want to do it. It's like
it's hard for one.
It's
physically.
It's I don't know.
I don't know if you saw my videos. I was struggling, man.
Bro. I'll tell you what. It's videos like yours.
Yeah.
I've got another friend who I went to primary school with, this guy called Sam, who lives in Christchurch, I think. And he fucking really struggled as well, bro. Like the very first 25, I think he could only get fucking 19 or whatever. But they're the videos that I find more inspirational than the guys who fucking smash out 25 off the bat.
Yeah, do some diamond ones, eh?
Oh, it's like it's seeing real people doing these real challenges with real struggle, and that's where I think the real inspiration is.
Yeah,
like in the realness, in the humility, and in the struggle, and in the suffering.
Yeah, the equivalent to someone who does like
a PT trainer who's fucking got the fucking abs, and
really that person should be doing like 130 or something. You know?
Exactly, bro. And this is but
it's hard to go back to the point. You know, you're fighting because that part of your brain, the what is it? I don't want to say it and sound wrong.
Nah, say it.
That part of your brain where it's like where the instinct kicks in.
Yep, the amygdala.
Amygdala.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of the processing power to make people fight things that are uncomfortable?
Bro, 100%. What it's my amygdala that's just wired me. And so I'm doing these
because I think physically it's painful, to some degree.
I think for me, my body's so strong now because I've done it for so many fucking days, and it's my body's
done it for months.
I've done it for over a year, bro. So my body's pretty strong, at least my upper body, not my lower. My legs are really weak, but it's just mind for me, bro. Like my mind is the challenge. My body's not the challenge. For you, it's different because you did that challenge and you haven't had that repetition and that consistency over a period of time. So
I haven't built that resistance to
do
it with ease in a way.
It's just a shock to your body, but
big shock.
But mine's the opposite. Like yours, I think.
But you've woven it into like your daily routine, so it's become habitual.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. It's just like when I say it's habitual, it's fucking incredibly hard. Like it's not something that I find easy. Like I'm fighting my mind and I'm forcing myself to do it on a daily basis. So it's not easy, but I just don't have a day where I don't do it. I know I have to do it, bro. I just know I have to do it, and I just do it. I just force myself to do it. It's like what I was saying before, but getting back to going to the beach, and I didn't want to go. And I fucking forced myself to go, and I was so much better for doing that. And when you do these things in the moment, like I'm anxious and my mind is fighting doing that task, and then you do it, and then after you do it, it's just like fuck, I did it.
In a way, you're kind of glad you've done it. Sometimes
I didn't want to do it, man, but I've done it. But even then, like I've always really struggled with like giving myself a pat on the back. Like, like
I think a lot of Kiwis do, don't they?
Good job. Like I just
Good
can't.
job.
I can't do it, bro. It's just not in my DNA. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. I just maybe it's a Kiwi thing. I don't know. Like you said, like I don't know.
That's what I've heard, eh? Like a lot of people say, oh, Kiwis don't like to pat themselves on the back. And this
Australians do. They love it, bro.
I think I think there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome here in Aussie.
Yeah.
I think that's all over the world, really.
I think like learning to love yourself is probably like the most important thing in life, because if you don't love yourself, it just permeates to every other area of your life in a negative way, and you're not going to get this this joyous enjoying feeling like you describe. That's your life now. It's like, you know, like, and it comes back to the acceptance as well. Like, you accept Ray for who you are. All of those experiences that you've had in your life were for a reason, and like I'm gonna ask you, like, do you love yourself?
I do love myself.
Yeah. and
But I love everything. So I love people, you know.
yeah. So
I think love and appreciation kind of the same for me.
is that something that, do you think you were born loving yourself, or is that
Oh, no.
no?
I came from the slums, man.
Yeah.
Came from a place called Otara.
I know Otara, bro.
It's a small little town that's quite infamous.
Yeah. Just off topic for a moment, but there's a new film that's just come out,
Oh, yeah?
Dawn Raid,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I think Otara, like a lot
Oh,
of the,
South Auckland, yeah.
South Auckland, a few of the singers from there, but
Yeah.
a friend of mine, I think, was the producer on that film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
What's his name?
Fraser
Or her
Brown.
name? Fraser Brown.
Yeah, he's also, I don't know if you follow UFC at all, but he directed a film with Israel Adesanya.
Oh, really?
So there's going to be a film coming out soon called The Style Bender.
Style bender.
And he went to Vegas with him just before COVID, bro, and filmed him like in a fight over there. And
Man, that Israel, eh? I love watching that guy.
bro, he's
He pats himself on the back quite a bit.
yeah, he's
But I think it's part of his
personality.
not so much personality. I think like strategy, because it's a confidence game, you know.
Like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
He's fighting today.
Oh, it's today, eh? That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Do you get into UFC?
Oh, I mean, I've watched it occasionally, but I'm not hardcore, like have to watch it every time kind of thing. But
Oh yeah, I think I'm the same. Yeah, I wait for the big ones like Israel fights.
yeah, I love boxing, bro.
Oh, boxing, yeah.
I've always loved boxing. I love the science behind it.
It's just a physical game of chess, isn't it?
Yeah, growing up, because I'm a bit older than you, you know, I grew up in like the Tyson, Holyfield.
Yeah, I watched all those too.
Buster Douglas, Tommy Hearns,
Boxing was
Sugar Ray
huge back
Leonard.
then. Yeah.
Oh, boxing was massive. And Australia, I don't know if you follow Australian boxing, but there's
a little bit.
There's a boxer at the moment who is going to be a world champion. He's about one fight away.
Who's that?
Kostya Tszyu, son, Tim Tszyu.
No.
He's a fucking gun, bro.
Is
So you know how good Kostya Tszyu was?
No,
Okay, so
I'm not
Kostya
familiar.
Tszyu was probably the most famous, most successful Australian professional boxer. So
How far back was this?
maybe 20
Okay,
20 years. But yeah, if you Google Kostya Tszyu,
Kostya Tszyu. Yeah.
yeah, I think he was born in Russia and then came to Australia and then became Australian and then fought as an Australian. I think he only had maybe 2 or 3 losses in his career.
Oh, wow.
And he won quite a few world titles, man. He's very, very successful.
Kostya, eh?
Kostya.
And so who's this other boxer?
It's his son. And
Junior.
called Tim Tszyu, and he's
Tim Tszyu.
fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Do you know Jeff Horn?
I've heard of that name.
So Jeff Horn is an Australian boxer who beat Manny Pacquiao, who's like considered one of the best of all time.
Yep.
So Jeff Horn beat
That's
Manny.
probably where I heard him. Yeah.
Yep. And then Tim Tszyu beat Jeff Horn.
Oh, wow.
So and I think that loss
Same weight division, yeah?
Same weight division, bro. He might be even better than his dad. He's that good.
Well, I'm sure his dad would have taught him a few key things.
Yeah. He
Maybe.
doesn't have a close relationship with his dad now.
Oh, yeah.
But I think growing up, definitely, like when he was a young kid and he's on the bags.
Probably
and shit.
not directly. Maybe his son was watching,
Yeah.
But
if you're interested in boxing, man, like this guy, he's one or two. He'll be the world champion.
Yeah.
1 or 2 fights, he'll be there. His last fight, he fought a Kiwi.
Oh, yeah.
This guy called Bowden.
Obviously
Bowen.
beat him.
Bro, like this Kiwi, he had a really good record. I think it was like 23-0, never been beaten.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, eh?
Pretty impressive. And Tim Tszyu just came out, and I think it was like 45 seconds, bro.
Oh, wow.
Just boom.
Not to take anything away from the other guy, but this Tim guy must be quite good, eh?
Man, it's just amazing. So, yeah, boxing.
So more into the boxing.
Yeah, boxing's more. It's something that I've kind of grew up in Ali, Ali and Foreman, and seeing all those like classic fights, the Rumble in the Jungle, and the Thriller in Manila, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What's your view on Mayweather? They say
he's amazing, bro. He's
Yeah.
amazing. Like
people hate on him a lot, eh?
Yeah. You can't deny his record.
Yeah.
Like he's never been beaten, and he's fought the best. Like he hasn't avoided any of the big boxers.
Yeah, I think he's fought all of them at least once, right?
Yeah.
I think people might say that he's avoiding the second fight. Yeah. But then,
It was interesting when he fought Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
That was
He took it easy. You could kind of see. Oh, I thought so. Took it easy in the first, and then when he got, I think he got like uppercutted or something. Yeah.
I think that fight kind of displayed the differences in UFC and boxing. Like boxing, you need a lot more stamina and strategy to be a successful boxer.
Yeah.
Although in saying that, would Floyd ever get in an MMA? Like I think Conor would smash him in an MMA.
Yep.
But yeah, boxing's just
It's a science.
it's a science, bro. It's a science, and
MMA is a science as well, but it's just a different kind, I think.
yeah.
I thought Conor was going to win that one.
I was pretty confident
before the fight,
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Then I thought like of the stamina thing, If Conor McGregor could last the rounds, maybe he might have a good chance. Yeah, but looking back now, I think he had no chance.
Well, I think like the fight kind of started pretty well, and he was very cautious, and I thought he strategized what he was going to do very well. Like he was conserving of his energy. He wasn't looking for any haymakers. He was just, jabbing, moving around, keeping a space. But you could just tell the longer the fight went on, that Floyd's just waiting to pick his moment. And as soon as it got in the later rounds, he kind of was struggling. He's like, boxing's tough, bro.
Well, it's quite different, isn't it? Like boxing's, 12, 15 rounds, some cases, or 12 rounds. MMA is like 5 at the most. I think I'm not sure, but I think the rounds might be shorter too.
I just think there would be no tougher sport on the planet than being confined to a small boxing ring with another human being where you've got to survive. Like 3 minutes in a boxing ring when you're fighting must seem like about fucking half an hour, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Especially if you're not conditioned to do that.
Bro, and you see those like boxing movies and, you know, they take a shot to the head and then there's this ringing sound and you kind of lose your consciousness for a few seconds and then it's just like, fuck, I'm still in this ring, man. And maybe you look up to the clock and there's still like, you know, a minute and a half. People shouting.
Refs there, you know.
And there's literally nowhere to hide. Like, you know, with team sports, you know, if you're a winger, you can hide on the wing or, you know, tennis court, you've got a net between you and the other opponent, but in a boxing ring, there's just nothing. It's just you and that person. And it's, you can just imagine the energy that it would require to be in that ring for that amount of time, man. It's yeah. I've got a lot of respect for boxers. Yeah,
especially the professionals, eh?
You got to be tough,
the up and coming guys.
You got to be tough.
Oh, super strong.
Yeah.
Oh, so your friend Fraser Brown, was it?
Fraser Brown.
I have to look him up. So this movie I'm quite excited about now.
Yeah, man. He's an actor, so you probably would have seen him. He was on Shortland Street for a while. He's done a whole lot of Kiwi TV stuff. He's been in a few films, but now he's into kind of producing and directing. And
he was part of the Dawn Raid. Is it a doco or movie?
I think it's like a documentary. So it's only just come out. We were actually going to see it this weekend.
Is it out here?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just in New Zealand.
Nah. Oh. So you can go and see it. There's another Kiwi movie we saw recently called 660. Have you heard of that?
The band?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a movie called 660?
Yeah, so I didn't even know there was a band called 660.
Really? Oh, I know the band. The band is quite well known.
In New Zealand, it's massive, eh?
Yeah.
It's like because I've lived in Melbourne for, you know, coming up 13 years. Well, I'd never heard of them, bro.
More like a kind of reggae-ish vibe, I think they have.
They sold out Western Springs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, yeah, we went and saw that movie about a couple of months ago. But,
is that another, like, doco movie?
Yeah, just a real life based on their life experience and how they kind of formed. And, man, they've had some, you know, trials and tribulations and they've been, like, that far away from cracking the international kind of scene and they just haven't quite got there. Like, at one point they moved to Germany and they got signed by this, I think in the States they got signed by Capitol Records or something and it just didn't quite pan out. And then they ended up going back to New Zealand and just focusing
doing
on
roots.
Yeah, just doing local stuff. But so Dawn Raid and the Style Bender. Keep your eye out for the Style Bender, bro.
Yeah, man. I just like watching Israel Adesanya. He's just a good entertainer, you know. And a great fighter.
He just has this fucking amazing belief in himself, bro. Like, it's
charismatic, you know?
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest UFC stars now. Eh?
Oh, bro, he'd be, like he said in his own words, he's bigger than the All Blacks, bro. Like, you know, like if you go to America and you ask 100 Americans, okay, do you know the All Blacks or do you know Israel Adesanya? Fucking 80% of them will say Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's
20% All Blacks.
he would be New Zealand's biggest fucking international sports star. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Look forward to his next fight. He's going to fight, what's that, Jan Blachowicz.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's currently the middleweight champion.
Yeah.
And he's going up weight to try get the light heavyweight
Okay.
belt. So I think that's happening soon.
Man, I'm just getting comfortable here because my neck's feeling a bit sore.
Oh, that's all right, man.
Is that all right?
It's like almost 3 hours, man. I think we better wrap it up. Eh?
Has it been 3? Really?
Like 2. And this isn't including like a conversation before we started.
Oh, bro. It's been so good, man. It's like, as I said before, you know, driving here, I'm in my natural anxious state. I'm looking at the clock and thinking I don't want to be late for Ray's 7 a.m. Sunday podcast. And then, you know, get here. Your mum, what's your mum's name again?
Sile.
Sile answers the door and lets me in, and I come into your little private podcast set up here, and I'm sitting anxiously in the seat, just not knowing what's about to transpire, and I'm really glad that we were able to get deep, man, and get brutally honest, and talk about some very taboo subjects that
so important.
Yeah,
like extremely important.
It's so important. I just, I know that your ultimate goal is for world peace, but I think that honestly, the re-engineering of the final destination is something that could be a purpose for you too, man. Like, just like to flip people's thinking and or to get them thinking, because I don't think people think about it. I just don't think they do. I think, and the same goes for me. Like, I think we just, for the most part, we're just doing our job. We're paying the bills, and we're doing the best that we can, and we're not really looking beyond that. And for you to look at death the way that you do, it just, as soon as you said it, man, I felt this instant calm. It's just, it puts it on the table, and rather than something that you don't want to think about, it just puts it there. And by simply putting it there, there's a sense of calm by doing that.
I think it must, like I said earlier, what puts it in perspective, and that's what I was saying. For me, death puts things in perspective, and I think once you have things laid out, and you see that, when you can address the death, I think that's when things seem clear. Once you actually acknowledge that this is actually a key part of our living, I think that's where the calmness is like a relief. It's like, now I can kind of have a better, now I understand this perspective that I have a bit more clearer. I think that's the effect it has for me anyway.
It's just accepting death as the final destination. Essentially, that's what it is, isn't it?
The journey and the destination in one.
Yeah. I've never heard it described that way, and
take what is going to help you.
Yeah, 100%, man. And thank you for providing me with the opportunity to speak as brutally honest as I have done today. Like,
man, I'm more grateful for you coming and sharing. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation, man.
I did too.
This is why I do it, just
the realness. And if you and I both can help at least just one person who listens to this podcast,
it's all worth it. Yeah.
it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Like sometimes that's all it takes to get you to that next step. So,
hey man, thanks for coming on. We better wrap it up. It's like literally nearly 3 hours.
oh my God, it's been a marathon, man, but I've loved every minute of it.
And you know what? This won't be the last time too. Definitely need to get you back on if you're willing.
Bro, always. And yeah, again, thank you for the opportunity. And man, we're going to stay in touch. Love you, bro.
Love you too, brother. All right, we'll leave it at that, man.
That was so good, man.